Welcome to Model with Mel, the Villa Edition, episode 2. I am so excited to be back here this week. We go live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we model with me, Mel. So, the current theme that we're doing is we are modeling the Love Island villa. We're modeling a rendition of it. We're going off of pictures. I'm literally like stopping it while I'm watching the show. I'm so invested in building this in Revit that I am pausing the show consistently because I'm just like, I need this clip. I need this clip. I need this clip. It's going to help me build everything in Revit, having these specific views. I would say that I'm almost paying more attention now to like the actual villa itself and their surroundings than I am to the show to a point. Because I'm just like so hyper aware of every little thing going on in terms of like where they're moving and where they're walking, and I'm trying to like visualize the floor plan and just make sure that if there's a good shot that they give me of the villa, I pause it and screenshot it so I can use it as a reference during this live stream. So if you're new here, welcome. I live stream to Instagram and I live stream to YouTube. YouTube is a screen recording of me modeling in Revit all of the steps that I'm taking to go through and create this villa. So if you want to watch what I'm doing, you want to rewatch it, you want to follow along, head over to YouTube, and the live stream of my screen and my Revit model will be over there, and you can watch the replay and follow along and tag me in your own Love Island themed villas. So let's just jump in and get started. I wish I could have like text on my screen consistently on Instagram that's like, hi, join us live over on YouTube, so that you can see what I'm modeling. Maybe I can figure out a way to do that. It looks like you can add a picture to the live stream. Maybe I'll create a little graphic that I can put above my head that's like, join the live stream on YouTube, and you can follow along to everything that I'm doing on Revit. But if you are watching Love Island, we have to talk because last night's episode was insane. It was insane. I have been team Nicolandria from the very beginning. I started getting TikTok edits from the very beginning, and the fact that it's now coming to fruition is just romance novel come to life here, seriously. So I'm taking a look at these pictures I got this image from a screen grab, and this is an entirely different perspective. I couldn't see like exactly what was going on from this aerial view. I only had one from like down below, so right when I saw this I was like, pause, gotta get this. I also took a few other ones. This one, I just wanted to see like this area from this perspective, this area from them walking up. This is like just to see the stairs, how they come up from the side here. So I can model this. And this wall is interesting because it looks like it's a continuous wall. It just has greenery on it. So yes, I'm very excited to have these shots so I can use them as references when I'm modeling. So that's what I'm looking at. Over off to the side on my other screen, and we are modeling. Yeah, I'm definitely going to create a little graphic to put above my little Instagram live, linking you straight to my YouTube stream, because we're doing everything over on YouTube. I used to try and like show my screen through Instagram. I would flip the camera and like have it mounted and you could see my screen, but you couldn't really tell exactly what I was clicking on, and it really wasn't that helpful to watch from Instagram. So now I just live stream yapping here, talking about things, talking about Revit. This current theme is Love Island, so I'm talking about Love Island, but all the juicy stuff is over on YouTube. So let's get into this. This is where we left off. We have some of these archways created. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start copying over some of these archways. So let's just take a look at this picture really quick. So we have an archway here. We have an archway up here and down here. So let's add those two. And what I'm going to do, everything I'm doing is on the second floor, of course. I'm going to copy this over here. I'm going to make sure it aligns with the face of that. Let's see, is it aligned with this one or is it set back? Let's take a look at this. Let's see if we have other pictures that show that area better. Okay, this is a good picture from the ground up. So this is the one I've been referencing forever because this is like one of the good ones I found online. I could never really see what was going on up here. So that's why I was really excited with that aerial shot. But let's take a look. So this is like right here. There's one here. And then this one is actually all the way back here aligned with this face. See how this one we currently have is in front and that one is aligned with this corner. So let's go create these three archways. And I am just copying this one over because it's going to give us that radius and profile that we want to mimic everywhere. And it's just easier to sort of copy it over. Let's actually take this one, because this is not a half of one, it's the full thing. And then let's put it over here in the corner. And now when we go to look, we can see perfect. So we just have to extend it. I am going to take an elevation and just edit it straight on in the elevation. So last night's episode was crazy. Like, I really didn't think they were going to get rid of Sierra. I didn't think they had it in them. But they did. And now they're giving us Nicolandria. And it's a dream come true. Last night's episode really felt like a normal episode of Love Island. Like, it just felt lighter. It felt like energetically clean. I don't know. Sierra left the villa and it was just like the energy feels like it got a lot better. Is this exact? Something about this looks off. Let me check. Yes, it's the same. Okay. Perfect. Let's move this. Let's see this really quick. I want my roof to be covering it, so let's just align it with the face there. Perfect. All right, let's actually put that back, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to extend the roof over just a little bit. I don't think I gave the roof an overhang. Where's my roof view? I need a view of my roof. Let's go to an elevation. Okay, let's just create a new level. So when I create a new level here, I'm just going to rename it roof, and it's not going to automatically generate me a view to go with it. So what I have to do is I have to go into view, and I have to create a floor plan based off of this level. And now I have a floor plan, and then what we need to do is we need to bring this down, and now we can see our roof. And then I just want to turn the underlay on so that I can see the second floor. All right. So this Revit model is going to be so cool when it's done because it has so many archways, and we're going to add like color, and we're going to add some of the greenery. I'm really going to show you guys how to bring this to life. Like, it's going to look so cool. This is just the beginning. Like, I'm going to show you how to do materiality, all these things. So I just want to check real quick. Let's look at this. So the roof does not really overhang these pieces. It does overhang this archway by a good amount. So let's just bump this out. Is there any part of this deck that's actually exposed to the sun though? Let's take a look at our aerial view. That's not the aerial view. Here it is. All right, so it looks like this one's like so blurry on this side. It looks like it does actually match, and then it comes straight across, which is interesting because this is sticking out a lot more. So let's just make our own decision and our own rendition of this. And let's just run this. Let me make a decision. Hold on. You can see it from this side. All right. Let's run it straight across. But let's make sure we have some here. And then we got to make sure that it's not super overhanging this area. So we have it running straight across. I'm just going to move it out a tiny bit. It's not that far from the roof. Hello to everyone over on YouTube. Hello to everyone on Instagram. We are modeling the Love Island villa and rendition of it in Revit. I am like almost like, it's almost bittersweet that the season is about to be over, because I feel like last night was the first time that really felt like I'm watching Love Island again. Like, I'm watching Love Island again. Like, it was giving Love Island. And this whole season, I feel like it hasn't been giving Love Island. It's been giving, like, friends that don't even really like each other. Honestly, I felt like they are just tolerating each other in this villa. I'm also moving this back. I'm only making the walkway 6, so then I can move this back and we can have a little bit more balance of roof and overhang. All right, this should be like 4 feet almost. Perfect. Perfect. It's like even. Okay. Let's take a look at this in 3D. I also am caught up on Love Island UK. I've been watching that on Hulu. I'm almost up to date with all of the episodes that have been released to the US. And I am obsessed with it because it is like the OG Love Island. Like, it's giving everything it needs to give, especially after the disappointment of this season of USA. I mean, to me, honestly, like I said this on the last one, USA has never really been my top Love Island. My favorite Love Island brands, I don't know, you know, I've always liked the UK one. I've always preferred the UK one. I've always been team UK Love Island, and it just eats every single year. Every year. Last year was a little but every year it is so good. All right, let's take a look at what plane this bottom one is in. Okay, so we have a bunch here. This one's cool because it like shares a wall. So I might like make one big wall and carve it out. Instead of doing like 2 walls, I'll just make it one big wall and carve the profile out. I can't wait to like get into some of this interior stuff. I just think it's going to be so fun. All these archways and curves. If you know me, archways and curves are my best friend. I did them all throughout college, in every project that I could get a chance to do it in. All right, so it's like a little bit off center, offset from the front of this. So let's put it here. Put it somewhere close here. Let's just copy it to the first floor. And then let's go take a look at the first floor and move it. All right, so this is super annoying, my wood finish. I want no finish. How do I get no finish? There we go. All right, and then we're gonna move this up until it feels like it's in a good spot. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's go back to our picture. So we're gonna do this big double arch now. Okay, so we have this one at the bottom. Oh yeah, we have to do this one, and then we'll do these two over here. So let's take the big arch. This one actually looks a little bit smaller for some reason. It doesn't like go the full length like the one above. It looks like it's because of the pool. The pool like arches under it. Okay, well, we will make that slight change, and we'll do this one over here. Let's see if we can see like from the aerial view. Yes, okay, see, this is the full length, and then it stops here because the pool does this weird, look at the shape of that pool. That is so weird. The Love Island USA people also, like, I've never seen them swim. They're not swimming this season. They're not swimming, they don't like each other. Yeah, nothing. All right, and this wall is also, like, has the archway, but has things filled in with it. So it's like a filled in wall with an archway. So let's add in some of these things. Let's edit this one in the bottom real quick. Let's go to elevation, edit profile, and let's just inset it like 4 feet. Looking good. Great. Let's adjust this. Beautiful. Now we're going to copy this in the first floor. And this is like flush with the landing above because it's basically the structure for it. So let's go back to the elevation and then move this so it matches the corner here. Really want it to match here. Hello, am I offering 101 lessons for Revit right now? Yeah, send me a DM and let's talk about where you're at. I do take 101 clients where we work privately together on your own projects, and we usually just like meet, have a little discovery call to talk about what you're looking for, where you're working on, and then we could talk about like a plan to move forward. So send me a DM and let's talk about it. Currently on the live stream, I'm modeling a villa, Love Island themed, over on YouTube, and yapping about my love for Love Island and my love for Revit and building things in Revit. And we're doing some really cool walls because this villa is really amazing. Yeah, but I would really love to chat with you about one-on-one. I am opening up 2 spots only, and I would love to have you. So if you want to just send me a DM, we can talk privately after this live stream. I'll get back to you. All right, so we have these archways placed. Now I want to go over and do these arches in the kitchen. So it's like an archway here, and we're just gonna have to come up with the proportions of it. So okay, let's see. This is a really good image because you can see, and like this is all structure, right? These corner pieces and what we're carving out is structural to this building. So it makes sense that the posts on the second floor that we started with are going to go down straight through to the first floor. I'm like so excited to do the pool. I'm actually going to show you guys how to model, how I do it, how I model the pool, and like we're going to model some of this like landscape stuff, I guess, like hardscape is what you call it. Those different areas and different materials, and how I build that in Revit, because I've had to build like a pool before in Revit so that I could then render it in Lumion. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that because it is valuable, I think, to know how to create things that maybe aren't specifically like windows, doors, and buildings in Revit, but you can actually build like scenes and then use that to your advantage when you go into a rendering software. I really want to invest in Lumion, but like I just don't use it enough. But I love Lumion. Like Lumion is my rendering software of choice. It's the best. So let's go in and place these. We know that our first arch is going to land there. And then honestly, our second one is probably going to land on this corner. Is it another corner like at the top? Yes. So this is the corner like we have on the second floor, only it comes all the way and there's no midpoint. All right. Is there a midpoint? Okay. That's interesting. So this is like the second floor where they connect there. It does look like it's offset a little bit because of the pool again. We're seeing that. But for the most part, that is the same. And then this is there. So let's do that and then we will assess how it looks after. So I'm going to take this one and go to my first floor. I'm going to copy it over and then I'm going to rotate it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it, where is the second floor? Okay, so it's not showing me exactly where it is, which is kind of annoying. Let me just copy it down really quick. So this I'm going to copy to the first floor and then I'm going to delete it after just because I need to be able to locate it and it's not locating. Okay. Let me undo that and move this wall. I need to look back at my picture. I'm getting confused. Okay. Yes, it's just going in a different direction. So I'm going to paste this really quick. And then I'm going to copy this over, or move it over rather. So it's right on top. And then I'm going to delete this. And then based on that, I'm actually going to extend this. I definitely need to. This whole area is a lot bigger, comes out a lot more, and so we're going to make it a lot bigger. Okay, let's go to the first floor. Let's go over here. Let's take a quick look at that kitchen and see how far the floor extends past the kitchen. Okay, so it extends just a little bit here, and then we have the stairway. I wonder what's under here. We never see them go here, but yeah, that's where the confessionals are or something. Like, they must do, you know, their off-screen confessional somewhere, and that's probably where. I never see anybody come in or out of this door in the villa. So yeah, let's extend this over like 2 feet past, and then we'll do the stairs. Well, you know, there's so many things I want to do. I keep saying, well, let's do this, let's do that, let's take a break. We're not taking a break. We are making progress. All right, second floor. Let's extend the handrail. I'm also going to extend this wall. I'm going to extend it here because then the stairs are going to be here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these archways and rotate it, and then I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to take a look at that wall again. All right, and it's basically, this point is like shared almost. Also gonna split this so that my wall isn't like enclosed too much. Okay. Actually, I think it looks better if this is next to it. Yeah, I actually think that looks better. And then of course we have the wall that's like dying into it. All right. There we go. It also just happened to be like the perfect length, which is kind of funny. I didn't have to edit it like at all. Let's just join it to the wall so it stops flickering. No, I don't want to join that. I want to see the seam. All right. Yeah, this whole portion over here is like green deck. So I think I'm going to change the material of the floor to look green and grassy. And I think later on, like, depending on how much detail I go into, I'll do like even this area of like brown planting and then the green. But for now, I'm going to keep it a little basic and I'm just going to change the material to be green. So let's go to the second floor. I am like so bouncing around. Like when I'm designing for fun like this and like trying to match the image and like doing all this stuff, I get so excited about everything that I'm doing that I'm just like bouncing around so much. But I promise in real life when I'm like doing actual projects that is for work, I am working in a very like structured way of like just do this, and it's very like quick, and you know, I'm doing a mix of like precision and quickness here where I'm like kind of just dragging things around. But yeah, so here I have a pavement one. Oh, already in here. I'm just gonna duplicate it and call it grass. And then I'm gonna go into my materials and I'm gonna type in grass. And there we have it. So now I'm gonna go here. All right, the railing would probably be on the outside of the grass. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Again, I get hung up on the little details. I'm like, let's make it perfect now. And then I'm gonna carve this out here. Alrighty. Perfect. Should I have had them overlapping so that then there's thickness? See how there's that thickness of the floor? Yes, let's try that. Let's undo what we just did and keep the floor overlapping for a second and see if I can like just use the join tool to make it look like they're blended in. It's not really doing what I want to do. So I'm going to go back, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make the thickness of this match this thickness. So 1 3/4. 1 3/4. Oops. 1 foot 3/4. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little paint tool and I'm just going to literally paint the edges of this, the faces of this, white so that it matches. Oh, well, the face of the other ones aren't white yet. Let's just paint them. And I just want it to look white. So this is like a quick way to get that look of trim that you want without actually needing to go and like place and model all that trim. I'd say it's only necessary to do that in certain circumstances, and in this one it's easiest to just like assign to paint those edges the color, which is white, that you want it to be in this case, and then it looks like the trim because it's the thickness of it anyways. So now we have our little grassy area, which is perfect. Gotta go back to like my original task, which was to do this copy down so I can finish my little first floor corner over here. And then I think after that, you know, connecting this piece over here, we might just have 1 or 2 archways to do over here, and then we're done with all of our like main outdoor exterior walls. And this is very much following like the framework I use every day. I always start with the basics of something, and then as I move further and further into the steps of my process, after I have established core foundational elements of a building, I will only then move on into some structural things, which is like stairs and columns that might be actual columns. These are like walls. There are columns. And then I will do the details. And then it will go into like the presentation, which is like even finer details and like refining the look of everything in Revit itself without needing to go to a post processing. I'm going to show you how to create like a sketchy look and like get something that is rendered quick in Revit that gives you an idea of some materials and things like we're applying here already. So I'm really excited to go through this process with my Love Island villa. Let's extend this. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this little end and we're going to extend it. Oh, we can just pull it. So I'm going to pull that all the way over. I'm also going to just adjust this to come down so our tops are all the same. Perfect. All right. And then this is the same too. Yes, so that is so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wall that I have here that I know matches the wall above. Looks like it matches the wall above. Looks like it doesn't match the wall above. It's kind of weird. Let us copy and paste to the first floor again. Interesting. What plugins do I use to ease my work in Revit? So I actually don't use any plugins. I do a lot of residential projects in Revit right now. So I'd say like the scale of the projects I'm using Revit for don't really require me to use any plugins. I use the light version of Revit because it's significantly cheaper. And one of the drawbacks of that is you can't use plugins. But like I just said, I don't really use plugins because of the scale of the projects I'm doing. they're not large enough for me to really need to do any plugin. Like everything that Revit has, Revit LT Lite is good enough for me to produce the drawings and the models that I need to produce. This is a reason why I choose to use Lumion, because it's a standalone rendering software that you don't need to plug in. You can do a live sync if you have the full version. But again, I'm using Revit LT. You can't use plugins, and Lumion is one of the only standalone rendering softwares that allow you to export your 3D model into the standalone software. And I know a lot of plugins are what a lot of people use for rendering, but for me, at the end of the day, like the cost of Revit Lite and Lumion combined is a lot cheaper than the cost of the full version of Revit and then like a plugin like Enscape. I've actually never used Twinmotion. I've never used Enscape. When I first started using Revit, I actually had like a student account, and so I was able to use Autodesk rendering in the cloud, which was interesting because it's like old fashioned. I don't know if it's gotten any better. Like this was like, oh, I'm gonna date myself here, but it was like 8 years ago when I really first started using Revit. I rendered in the Revit cloud, and you have to like actually wait for it to render. You have to kind of like build your own materials within Revit with pictures. It's hard to explain. You like get no boundary pictures, I forget what it's called, and then you like upload the picture of what you want the material to be, and it like repeats that pattern. And sometimes it looks good. It's called seamless images. Sometimes it looks good and sometimes it looks bad, like depending on the pattern. And then you would just like put that into Revit cloud. It would render. It would take time, and you'd have to come back to it and make adjustments as needed. And then after that, I very quickly switched to Lumion because it's amazing and fantastic. Alright, so I copied this wall down, and when I do that, it's like a little bit different. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this wall, and I'm going to create one wall. I love Lumion because it is instant. Like you go in that program and you are just like moving around in a video game, and everything is instantly rendered, and you get to see it pretty close to how it is going to be finished. And you don't have to really wait that long. A lot of the renders you're able to like edit them pretty quickly. But yeah, I would say like I don't use a lot of plugins. My workflow in terms of how I use Revit is pretty streamlined, and I just use everything inside of Revit Lite, and I have no complaints. You're also a BIM specialist. That's really cool. What type of projects do you work on in Revit? I'd love to know. Zane. Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll take a look at your website. Do you do like a lot of commercial projects, residential projects, any type of project? I'd love to know. But I will definitely just take a look at your website to find out. Mostly I work on Revit families and then commercial warehouses. I see, yes. I feel like being someone who creates Revit families must be cool, because it's almost like you're an industrial designer and you're like creating like physical objects, right? So like the windows, the doors, the furniture, all cool different things. And that's basically what industrial designers do, so that's pretty cool. And then commercial warehouses. Do you like doing commercial warehouses? What is going on here? Okay. We are almost done with our walls here. What is going on? Overlapping lines. Overlapping lines where? Although my website is still unconstructed, it's almost 90% complete, but you can visit it, although I have my few architecture projects listed there. Alright. SaeedZainAbbas.com. I'll take a look. Are there two here? There are. The most unique Revit family I worked on was Roller Coaster in Texas Theme Park. That's crazy. It was a great experience. Death face. That's so funny. I cannot imagine. This is like what gets me is people are, one of the biggest misconceptions about Revit is, oh, you can only build boxes and like it's going to limit your designs. And now I can be like, I know someone who has literally worked on building a roller coaster inside Revit. So please leave the excuses at the door. You can build anything inside of Revit. That's crazy though. Like that is one hell of a thing to be able to put on your resume. Like I've built a roller coaster in Revit. So really you could give me anything. Give me anything. All right, so we have our wall done. I did make it one full wall and we used this one, copied it down to sort of like trace over it. Now we have most of our walls. It's 9:05. That means the Love Island episode has dropped, but I feel like we only have these two more walls to place over here, so I'm just gonna like delay watching Love Island for a few more minutes and spend more time here with you guys working on this little villa because I want to finish all these arch walls on the exterior, and I know that there's only like two more left over here. I think we got almost all of them, and if we missed any we can go back in and add more details later, but I just want to get the rest of the arches. So yeah, there is one up here in the corner and it like meshes with this one. But I don't think there's any like great imagery I have of it. Yeah, that one's even worse for this area. I'm gonna need to be on the lookout tonight when I'm watching the Love Island villa. I'm watching Love Island tonight. I'm gonna be on the lookout for this specific area that they're in so I can be like, screenshot, this is what it looks like, this is what it looks like. Because right now I feel like I don't have any really great views of that area. Okay, maybe this one. This is like a really weird view, but yes, this arch is a full arch. Okay, and it connects to this one. That's what I was looking for. All right. All right, yes, so an arch here. Let's add that in. Second floor. Rotate. And then let's just put this next to it for now. Okay, looks like we need to come back a little bit further with our deck on this side, so we'll just extend it. Alright, this also should be a lot smaller actually, so I probably didn't need to extend it. Let's actually go back and then adjust this wall in elevation. I am not sure here. Let's see. Okay, let's bring this whole wall in. Alright, Can you share your screen? What are you modeling now? Yeah, so I'm modeling a like rendition of the Love Island villa because I love Love Island and I'm watching the USA version and the UK version. And I'm actually live streaming to YouTube my screen. I'll share my screen right now though. I'll pull myself down. I used to try and share my screen from Instagram. Like I switched my camera and would have a tripod, but I feel like you couldn't really see good enough of what I was doing. So now I just kind of like talk here with you guys, answer questions, talk about what I'm doing, and then you can head over to YouTube for the live stream and rewatch and like follow along. But I'm going to show you guys right now what I am working on. So this is what it looks like so far. It's hard to sort of move around with only one hand because I'm holding my phone right now. But we are just working on building the Love Island villa that they're in. And then we're finishing all of these like arch walls right now. So I just finished placing this one, and then I'm not sure if there are any more. I think even though I can't really tell, I'm going to put one down below just to have it. I'm definitely opening my idea to interpretation for this. I am following some pictures from the TV show because, you know, I'm dedicated over here. So I'm following some pictures. This is what it looks like, and we are, you know, mimicking it, but also taking some creative freedom as we go. So yeah, I can't really tell if there's arch here, what exactly is going on this side, because it's looking just like really open, but in the pictures it doesn't look that open. So yeah, we'll take a look. Maybe we'll do, like I said, our own rendition where we do have a wall over here. It looks like they have like a raised platform and this is seating. And we'll just do what we think looks best. So I just added this arch over here. It does look like it continues back. I think this is their dressing room where they get ready. And then there's some like archways and stuff here as well. So that's what I'm working with. And then I have my whole live stream over there to YouTube. But yeah, that is everything. I used to, like I said, I used to just stream my screen from Instagram, but I like being able to like have a conversation with you all, and I feel like it's easier to do that if I'm looking in front of the screen. I'm going to have on my next live, I figured out I'm going to have a little picture above my head that's like, go watch the YouTube, you can see me model live, because I know it's kind of confusing if you've never watched me model with Mel before, and you're like, what is even going on? What is she even doing? Why is she just talking? Like, give us the good stuff, give us the rub it. I know. So yeah, I mean, like, in this picture, actually, now that I'm really looking at it, compared to mine, the first floor is way extended out than the second floor. Like, the first floor, haha, I would join you from YouTube next time. Yeah, of course, I'm gonna put that picture up there next time, so it'll be super obvious. But you can also catch the replay and, like, follow along if you want to while I'm building it. And then I think it would be so fun if people like tagged me. If you tagged me in your Love Island villa that you're modeling as you're following along with mine. All right. 9:12. Okay, just a few more minutes here. Now that I've added in that last arch and realized what looks different about mine is the bottom floor is a lot bigger. So we're just gonna go into the first floor, and we're going to extend this. And for now, I'm just going to, whoa. Just gonna quickly do this and make sure that those walls don't go all the way up. that's what I accidentally went and joined these, and I actually just need it to be new. Need them to be separate so I can set them at different heights. Alright, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna trim this up. Oh my goodness, hello. We're gonna put this at the second floor. Oh my gosh. We're gonna put this at the second floor and this one at the second floor. And now let's go take a look. Alright, let's offset this by 1 foot. And then let's make sure it is live. Hello to everyone that's just joined. I am just yapping about Love Island, modeling the villa in Revit over on YouTube. But we are just talking about Revit in general, architecture, answering some questions, and just having fun. Alright. Let's do this 3/4, which is the thickness of the floor. Okay. And then let's go to the second floor, because why is my wall sticking out like that? Okay. Perfect. And honestly, I don't know what the back of this looks like. I don't know at all. But yeah. We definitely need to extend the second floor. So I guess let's just have this all be deck. Can never really see what's going on over here. I don't think they really utilize this area. It's like the back of the house of the villa. But you know, maybe we'll just do some like gardens or something back here. You can see in the picture that they are like, there's some like wall paneling, but they're not archways. So again, I'm going to be on the hunt tonight when I'm watching for this specific area of the villa of like what's going on back here, because I don't really know. And I like to try and bring to life things from images so I can like compare, this is the image in real life and this is the image in Revit that I modeled based off pictures. I think it's so cool to be able to do that. But of course we do have like some artistic like, you know, our own rendition, our own little spin on things. It's never going to be like 100% exact. We're never going to know exactly where everything is in the villa. So we are going to come up with our own certain areas and certain things as we go through this. But yeah, I just love like trying to model things in Revit based off pictures. I think it's a fun experiment. So I'm going to bring it back here, the railing, and then I don't know, later on we can decide if we want it to be grass, if we want it to go all the way, if we want to do something different. Maybe we'll see what's going on back here, maybe we won't. But right now, that is what I'm going to leave it with. And I am just going to change this back so that it sort of like matches. I'm also going to move this floor up because we're going to build a little bit more. You know, the stairs are going to be here. There's going to be more stuff that's going on. So, yes. Okay. Perfect. 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 I'm so excited. All of the archways are done. And they look so good. This one's hanging off a little bit. Why is it doing that? I'm such a perfectionist. Why is it hanging off just a little bit? I want it to be on completely. Okay, let's just move it over. And then it'll be perfect. And then I'm going to go watch Love Island for real, for real. Like, I got research to do, okay? I got research to do. Good areas of the villa to scope out. Alright. Beautiful. Now we're all aligned. And happy. Let's see if when I join this I can get rid of that. Yes, I can. Got rid of that line between them. Perfect. Perfect. Of course. Such a perfectionist, I know. Need to make sure this corner doesn't look weird. I don't know why that's happening, and it's bothering me. Stop it. Why? Revit does these things sometimes where it doesn't join the walls, like it's doing right now. Oh, it's really bothering me. Come on, let's join. I got Love Island to watch. We're past our time. We're past our time. Okay, thank you. It joined finally at the corner. I don't know what it was doing there. There we go. Now we can't see that gray corner, and it's white like it should be. Because I needed that. I needed that. All right. This was so much fun. We made so much progress. We got all of our exterior walls, like archways, done. We really like massaged the design and made it even bigger in a lot of spots. We added our grass in. We just overall like really developed this exterior a lot more, and it's really starting to come to life. And who knows what I'm going to be interested in working on next time. I feel like every time I am like interested in doing certain areas I get excited about, but I knew that I definitely wanted to get like the big core elements in first, like the floors, the walls, the ceilings, and the railings, and then start to differentiate like materiality. So I don't know, part of me is like, oh, do I do like the pool stuff? But I feel like that should come later. But I don't know, maybe just start like mapping out where the pool will be with the different material like we did with the grass. I'm going to start adding like the doors and the openings. We're going to start going there. We're going to start adding the stairs now that all like the big walls and the floor has been mapped out, like the floor plan of it all and the location of where these arches are. That's key for everything else is going to be built around it. So now that we're done with this, we've established these core elements of the building, we can start to move on to the finer details like I just mentioned, like the stairs and maybe carving out where the pool is going to be, adding like doors and archways and all those like other elements of like how you get in and out of it, right? So I'm excited and I can't wait to see how our villa turns out next week. Again, if you want to catch the replay, follow along on YouTube. I was live screen recording my entire Revit model, and you can watch the replay, follow along, and tag me in your own Love Island themed villa. So I will see you guys next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on Instagram and live over on YouTube, screen sharing my Revit model. Alrighty, go watch Love Island, because that's what I'm going to go do.